857 Video Game Podcast.
Yes. Once again, whether it's a beer, a shot, or even a glass of wine, grab your favorite beverage and welcome to the Level 857 Video Game Podcast. As always, with your host, starting with me. 1 second. Having a lot of technical difficulties. It's just not my day, man. All right.
It's all good.
Algae 857, what's good, everybody?
The 23rd Stallion.
Sticks.
Turbo 857.
And your boy Big Chalk, what up?
Yeah.
And a very special guest, actually very special guest we have on the podcast tonight is a man who wears many hats. He is a father, author, DJ, producer, lyricist, whose music blends charismatically and charmingly blends video games, comics, and hip-hop so successfully that he was able to lift himself out of the humble beginnings of Philly, being able to support himself as a full-time touring independent hip-hop artist. I believe he is the only independent hip-hop artist who has ever partnered with a major AAA gaming publisher. And I think he's the only independent hip-hop artist who has performed at Comic-Con. Please put your hands together and give a warm round of applause for coming on our podcast for the very first time. Fellow YouTuber, Guinness World Record title holder, the very talented and innovative Mega Ran. Hey!
Let's go.
Oh my God, that was an amazing intro. Can I use that for my next album? 'Cause
Yes,
that was,
sir.
Yes, Take it
that
up.
was spectacular.
please do.
I want to say, for some of those things, I'm not the only person to accomplish some of those things, but I am the first.
The first.
And so the Capcom thing, like the first artist to be like licensed by a AAA. It's like I could be the answer to a trivia question, because the second person to partner with Capcom was Lil Wayne and Drake.
Hey!
Yeah.
But they weren't indie. They weren't indie.
They weren't like in the universe, I guess you could say, in the pantheon of gaming culture, like I was. But it's pretty wild. Like, they sponsored a tour of theirs like a couple years after me, so it was pretty dope to see like that kind of open some doors. As far as Comic-Cons as well, I was the first act to perform on a floor at a Comic-Con. And now you kind of see, then the next year it was like Method Man and Redman, you know what I mean?
Damn.
You open the door for all of them.
I'll be opening the doors, so that's what I do. I'm the key that opens doors.
Pioneer.
There you go.
No, it's crazy.
The key master.
No, I think
The Key Master.
I think the craziest thing though is that you're a full-time independent artist. You're able to support yourself doing this. It's very hard to. We did music, so we know how hard it is to be a
It is.
independent artist. You get a little check here, a little money here, show here, but to keep yourself doing it full-time, that's insane.
It is nuts, man. I quit my job in 2011
Wow.
to do this, and I really didn't expect that it would last this long. Like, I was ready to go back. I thought, maybe I'll give it a year, maybe 6 months, whatever. I was a teacher, so I was taking my summers off anyway to go tour and play music and travel and record. So, but yeah, so I was like, oh, it won't be that much different. But right after I quit, man, I got gifted like a really amazing tour opportunity from MC Chris, who asked me to go out on this like 45 city tour. And that just like got me going, man. I got a roommate to move in at my spot and help me, with the bills. And then I just hit the ground running.
Wow.
And most of those shows were sold out. So it gave me a real like launch pad. Like, that was the booster that I needed to kind of keep this thing going. So
Wow.
I'm always thankful to MC Chris, man. He looked out when he didn't have to, but yeah, he gave your brother the alley-oop.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Shout out to MC Chris.
Shout out to MC Chris, yes.
Sensational.
So Mega Man, give us a timeline of like when this began.
Man, this began in 1988.
Wow.
How much time you got? No. I think I'm guessing 1988 because I think Nintendo Power. I liken this to Nintendo Power issue maybe 2 or 3 that had Mega Man 2 on the front.
Okay.
I can see it clear as day. I think I still got it somewhere. I just wish I knew exactly what issue it was. And it's like in this claymation style. It's got Dr. Wily's ship and Mega Man trying to come after him. And like And inside they profile Mega Man 2. They're like, oh, look at these great colors, look at these graphics, these bosses look dope. They show all the levels and the maps. And I was like, this game is amazing. I had never played Mega Man 1. I just was like, I gotta have Mega Man 2. We go to the store, this little store called Clover, and my mom was like, that game is $50. And I was like,
Sounds like
yeah, yeah. And she's
Yeah.
like, no. But Mega Man 1 is right next to it in the little bargain bin for 19.99. So let's just get that. And I was like,
Aw.
all right. fine."
Ah,
You
damn.
know,
So
I had
close.
never
That's good.
played it. So I was like, if I didn't really know what 2 was like, then, this couldn't be so bad. But the cover was crazy. The game, if you know anything about it, yeah, the front cover, I was like, is this even the same game? Like,
He was in tears,
what?
crying to his mom. Why?
I'm
Why?
like, this isn't it. It's like she got me the puff wheat instead of the, the cereal that I wanted.
The cake, it was a bag,
But
not the
yeah,
box.
it was weird. I was like, yo, the box looks crazy. But then I started playing it and I was like, I got just as hooked on it. I was like, oh, the gameplay's fun. And later on I was able to rent Mega Man 2 and the music just blew me away. And I remember that was one of the first games where if you paused or went to the menu screen, the music would still play.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a few games copied this later, but that was something where like if I went away to go fix a sandwich or clean some dishes, I could still hear the music. And so as I was still hearing the tunes, I would just be humming lyrics, I would just be humming lyrics, and then I come back to the game and just be singing lyrics to it. And so that was how it started. But I didn't realize that moment was going to be so key for me until almost 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? Where I was like making beats and then being like, yo, let me sample the tracks that I grew up playing, or let me try to remake those tunes. I started getting on the internet, exploring OC Remix and other places like that. There was this place called the Mega Man Archive or something like that. And so they had all the music in MP3 form of every classic Mega Man. And so I just downloaded them all and was like, man, this music is so good. And then I discovered ROMs and emulators, started playing the games again. And I was like, all right, I think I'm going to try this. So I start trying to write like video game, like hip hop version of Mega Man. Like, let me tell this story through an opera type experience. And I didn't know what was going to happen. This was in the MySpace days.
Yeah.
And, I really do miss MySpace, by the way. This was like
Nope.
maybe the best place for up and coming musicians because like it was just made for that. Like just, a great place for music. So,
Tila Tequila.
yeah.
Justin Timberlake still owns MySpace, right?
No, it's gone.
No, it's gone. Oh, he sold that. Okay,
It's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Your top 8 and all that stuff. Fighting over you. Oh, I thought you was in my top 8.
Bro.
That was some real arguments. People were like, oh, I'm going to change it to top 16 now, just so people don't get mad. Like,
You almost made it.
Almost.
But last Friday, you didn't show up.
I was afraid. That I was like, because I was doing these like sampling stuff without permission. And so I thought that was going to like get me caught and get my MySpace page taken down. So I made a second MySpace called just Mega Ran, and I would put the music on that page instead of my actual page. So it was like me kind of being like an MF Doom, kind of having like a second, like an alternate, identity. So I could be like on the side with it. It's like, oh, I'll, when I'm rapping about video games, I'll be Mega Ran. When I'm rapping just regular, I'll be random. And then later you realize like as an independent artist, you don't have the bandwidth to possibly support 2 different identities.
Yep.
So it's kind of ridiculous to think you could do that. So eventually it all just went under Mega Ran. And then I got the email, it was on MySpace, from the big old C, the big C, just like those on the brother's shirt. And I still remember that was the profile pic. It was the big old C, it's a Capcom. And then this guy messaged me, he's like, hey, we want to talk to you about this Mega Man rap album. And I was like,
Oh boy.
who told you about that? That's crazy. Actually, I have to thank IGN because IGN back in the day used to do music reviews, and they reviewed my album, and that's what kind of got it some viral like buzz.
They were good back in the day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. So, IGN was showing love, and so they reviewed the album, and I was like, oh well, it's the perfect fit for IGN, so cool. But the moment that review went up, man, that's when Capcom was like, oh, and so they found out, and they messaged me, and they're like, hey, what's up with this Mega Man album? And before I could even answer, the dude like sent another message and was like, don't worry, this isn't a cease and desist. And I was like,
Thank you.
I had to
Goddamn.
do the Denzel, like, oh, boy, man, thank you. So they were like, actually, we have this site called Capcom Unity where we like kind of profile like fan art, and they were really ahead of the curve on this, like spotlighting and showing love to fans who created stuff around their stuff, where other companies were quick to like shut you down. They would just like,
Nintendo.
you know, and but Capcom was like, look at this, and they were like, we want to interview you on our website. And then they were like, yo, it's Mega Man's what I think it was like Mega Man's 20th anniversary when the album came out. And they were like, this is a great anniversary story, so can you come to Comic-Con? And so I came to Comic-Con, and so that's where our relationship started. But prior to that, I was making kind of traditional hip hop music, and then I found this kind of thing, this interesting middle ground. But it was just combining everything I loved when I was in middle school to what I loved at that day,
Mm.
and being like, yo, I can sample this and I can put this together and still have fun with it, and people were enjoying it. So I was like, I think I found something. It was kind of like an accidental, like a happy little accident.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, back then there was, even now, there's not a big, like you have a niche, and you caught that niche pretty much at the very beginning, as far as gaming.
Yes, I would
On
say so. It's certainly a niche. Nerdcore hip hop is kind of what they call it, and I've in my journey then started running into other people. But I remember when I first started doing it, I was like, let me search and see if anybody's done anything like this.
Mm.
And I didn't find anything. Like nobody had done like Mega Man rap or video game rap that was good. And so I was like, all right, well, I got this. And so the closest I found was there's a band called the Megas, and the Megas do Mega Man fused rock music.
Mhm.
So they'll
Oh.
be like, all right, well, here's the Cut Man theme, but we're gonna sing a song about cutting people off, or, like that kind of thing. And so it was really clever, really fun. So I wound up seeking them out. They were in Cali, and I was in Phoenix. So we wound up doing some shows together. And that was mainly it, just me trying to find other people who were doing this and just try to find a community. And between the nerdcore community and then the VGM community through OC Remix was where I kind of like found my footing. And yeah, it was a really special place. Like I found people who were just really hard workers that had an equal love for video game music and music, and respected it for what it was. So it's been a cool ride.
Not bad.
I was gonna, I was
So
gonna ask
cool.
how you felt about the term nerdcore and how they put it in like a little box to try. I mean, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because it kind of helps people find it if they're looking for it. Because I know how hard it is to be found when you're starting with hip hop.
Oh yeah, it's super hard to be found. So it's like, as much as it's funny, almost anybody who's gotten somewhat popular in nerdcore has tried to shun that title.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because we've always thought, oh, we're bigger than that. Let's just leave that behind. Like, don't try to categorize. I just make music, and it's like, good try, bro. Like, people need some way to categorize you, and
Mm.
I don't mind it, honestly. Like, I do feel like sometimes, man, I look at it and they're like, if Spotify says recommended other artists, and then I listen and they're all like not good, I'm like, ah, man, dang,
It
like
sucks.
that's not what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'd like for people to find other great artists when they find me, and sometimes I get lumped in with some stuff that isn't necessarily the best. Um, but I can't do anything about that. So all I can control is what I bring to the table, and I try to make sure that it's always high quality and got a lot of heart and effort going into it. But yeah, I used to fight it too. I'd be like, I'm gonna call it something else. So I started calling it chip hop, which is chip tune plus hip hop.
Hip-hop.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because I heard that term and I was like, oh, that's actually kind of dope. You know. But what if I make a song that doesn't sample any video games and it's just a rap song? Like, where do you put that? So yeah, it's just this alternative underground rap thing. That's really all it is. Nerdy rap. Open Mike Eagle called it Other Ground, which I kind of dug.
Other ground.
Yeah, he's like, yo, this is Other Ground. It's like it's underground, but it's also like these super weird folks. So yeah, it's like Other Ground.
That's funny.
I think of when I think nerdcore, I think MC Front a lot. Right here. I'll
Yes,
show you.
I was about to say Frontalot comes up as well.
That's
there you
funny.
go.
I actually interviewed him like when I was trying to figure out what was happening in nerdcore. I interviewed him at South by Southwest. I went down there, and that was how the whole kind of officially licensed thing happened. Because there was a movie on Netflix called Second Skin.
Yep.
That was about video game like addiction, and they wanted to use my song "Grow Up," which sampled Mega Man as the ending credits music. And so the movie guy was like, "Oh, well, just give us your, official paperwork with Capcom." And I was like, "Paperwork? All I got is an email of them saying they won't sue me." Nah, you need to get some paperwork. And so after that, they wrote the, an official license document. And so that from that point, I was officially licensed by Capcom. But yeah, he was down there debuting his film, which was Nerdcore Rising. And so I got to learn a lot about nerdcore by meeting him, and then later we started playing shows together. We've toured the whole world now at this point together, So yeah, Frontalot was the first. I think I think he created the term nerdcore hip hop. So shouts to the Godfather.
Yep. Yeah.
Dude, that was ages ago. That was like G4 days, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how I learned about him.
It's not bad.
G4. I miss it.
Oh yeah, man.
It came back. It was, I mean,
He said
Yeah.
it came back up. I mean,
Wow.
Mega Ran, you just said you're a world traveler. Do you have a favorite city or anything like that you've been to? Anything that sticks out?
I really love Tokyo.
It's
That might be
expensive.
my favorite.
Expensive.
Yeah, it is a little expensive. But it's probably my favorite city because it's just like everything that we love here is not only just loved there, but it's like really loved. Like it's put on the forefront. Like you walk into a grocery store and Sailor Moon is there, like, welcome to the grocery store. What I mean? It's like everything that we're into is like front and center there. So it's like a really cool experience. They use all these characters to advertise everything. They're very proud of all the stuff that they've given to society. So you don't have to feel kind of hidden when you like all these things.
yeah, it's definitely a culture.
Yeah, great culture, great, music, food, just awesome times out there.
Yeah. Only Sticks. Sticks only one of us who've been to Tokyo, right?
Yeah, I spent a lot of money
Spent a lot of money.
on that
Yeah.
trip.
and he's still recovering. He's still
I'm still, my credit card is not recovered.
Yeah.
It is expensive. That is the truth.
Not bad.
But it's
though.
like Vegas though, as far as money.
It's like Vegas as far as money. No gambling.
I
way
thought the
more
yen was
fun.
going down. I thought it went down. No,
Yeah.
What?
the yen. The
Nah.
Yeah, it
currency.
did.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
thought it did go
it's
down.
close. It's getting close to the, or very, very close
Dollar.
to the
Yeah.
US dollar now.
Okay.
If you play Shenmue, you're gonna think that the yen is still high.
Oh my God!
Wow.
I'm just, the currency. I'm saying, whatever. If you start in Japan, it's the first one.
Yeah.
It's no joke. There, it's definitely no joke.
Mega Ran, where's your favorite city to perform in?
Oh man. Gosh, man, there's so many good cities that are just kind of good to what we do. I feel like Seattle is just a really special place. I don't know if it's because like Nintendo is there, like PAX is there, so you get like a lot of nerds that really enjoy what we do in those places. Boston, another one. I feel like maybe because there's so many universities there, there's just a lot of smart kids who like to have a good time. So those are some of my favorite cities. Austin, another like a weird city that has a lot in common with what we bring to the table. Manchester in the UK is one of my favorites. It's just a beautiful town, really old, like really resilient town. Feels like Philly to me, and great musical history. Like it's a town that I can just walk around in all day.
They got
enjoy my-
they got any cheesesteaks? They said it was like Philly.
Nah.
You got cheese- Oh,
no.
okay.
Even
I
if
had
they
to
did, I
ask.
wouldn't bother. Like no.
I had to ask. I had to ask.
Turbo with the killer questions.
Yeah.
No, I just- no,
With the-
just-
they got
Come
cheesesteaks
No,
out
no,
there.
he sounds like fellas like they got cheesesteaks too.
Groundbreaking questions from
Yeah,
Turbo.
yeah.
You heard it here
I
first.
mean, they might, but I wouldn't try it. So I wouldn't know.
I've always wanted to perform in the UK. Like their hip hop, history
Yeah.
is pretty
It's
crazy.
just different out there, man. They really do appreciate,
They definitely
I'd
do.
say our niche of underground kind of hip hop. Like the heroes that I have in rap, like they're like revered out there. They're treated
Mhm.
like the legends they are. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
Master Ace goes out to Europe like 5-6 times a year to huge sellout crowds. So it's a really dope thing that they appreciate a lot of the stuff that maybe the U.S. doesn't as much.
It's tough.
That's so
We
cool.
understand.
U.S. is a tough crowd.
We understand
Mhm.
exactly what you went through with this gaming music thing because when we were young, we used to get yelled at for like humming all the chip tunes. He's like, "Yo, we know this song," and we used to do it. Remember, we would sing. We would actually do it like a real song.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, "What are you doing? Stop doing that.
Yeah.
That's video game music. That's not music." I'm
it's
like,
not
not
cool.
really-
What are you, a nerd or whatever the hell? That
Yeah.
is.
You got screamed
Yeah, man.
at.
Back then, nerd wasn't exactly a great term. Nobody wanted to be called that.
Nope.
And like we didn't consider. That's why like there's a T-shirt that I sell that says "Video game music is music," and it's kind of like what I live by because, man, like when I went to that's one thing I can say. When I went to Japan, we played a lot of shows with chiptune composers. I played with people who made music for Streets of Rage. I played with people who made music for like Ape Escape and other like really great games. But they're playing to like these very small rooms. And I looked at it like, man, like these people should be legends and gods out here. Like Koji Kondo, who made, the Super Mario theme,
Yep.
should have statues everywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that guy's a legend. But then seeing them like play small rooms and play chip tunes to 85, 90 people was like, man, like, because when they started, they weren't considered musicians. They were just guys who were just hired to make some sounds happen on a game so people wouldn't get bored.
Hackers.
And like, yeah, hackers basically. You
Hackers.
just, like figure it out. You got 4 little sound channels and you just figure it out. And then they would make this music that we've been humming for our whole lives. So it's just like they should get a lot more respect. And that's where, I try to do is give back to those folks. Like, yo, this stuff is great, right? Like it's really good music. And I want people to understand how special it is, even if like the world doesn't look at them as the legends and rock stars they are. They should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like I have
Absolutely.
no doubt about it. You know what I mean? So maybe one day we'll get there, or we'll just get up a video game music Hall of Fame or something. Because and a lot of things also, those guys didn't get like credit as far as like royalty payments and things like that for the songs that they were
crazy.
creating because they weren't considered musicians. Like you were just a guy on the team who just did this thing. And now this music has been like continued to be replayed, redone, remade, and as you don't always get the credit for it. So yeah, man, it's I see a lot of similarities with hip hop in that sense. So with hip hop and gaming, I've tried my best to try to show people that they're more alike than they are different.
Yeah.
That seems to be a theme, especially on this podcast a lot. We'll always talk about how important music is in video games and that doesn't get the credit that it deserves. And so many of these games get so much attention and awards, and these games won't be great if they don't have that good soundtrack setting the tone for what the game is. It's part of the art of making the game. And if you take like a game like a Last of Us and you put clown music to it, it's just not going to hit the same. So it's like they really just
No.
don't get enough credit.
No, they really don't.
Yeah, people wonder where all the orchestrated music went. Like, oh, I love orchestrated music in movies and everything. Like, well, where do you think it went?
Yeah.
It went to gaming. Like, if you listen to any of that
Games now.
stuff, all those composers are doing gaming music, and people
Yeah.
don't even realize that.
Yep.
Nope.
And Nintendo just came out with a music app a couple of days ago, and
Really?
you have to be signed
Really?
up to the Nintendo online to use it.
Interesting.
Basically, they copied YouTube music, but it's just they have all the video game music they put in there, but they don't give any credit to any of the composers,
That's
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
which is
Oh,
super
man, that's whack.
unfortunate.
That's not cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrible. Even at the game awards, man, which like I appreciate what they're trying to do, but like game music is like this quick little almost afterthought where they don't mention the composers by name or anything.
no.
It's just bam, and it's just done. And I'm like, come on, like
Yeah.
you're giving out awards and like not even naming the people that worked on this stuff. That's
insane.
crazy.
So I hope
It
that
really
changes.
is.
Yeah, I would love for that to change.
It just recently happened, and people have brought it up. So I hope Nintendo's like, okay, we'll do it. But they've been known to not give credit to anyone who makes the games
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
at all. It's like this is Nintendo's game.
Wow. It's like it's
And you don't
ours
see
now.
no names, no
They
direct.
like, they like the WWE with it.
Yeah.
We did everything. We own your name.
Created by us. Like,
Yeah.
oh, all right.
Well, now they have credits. There's 2 names at the end of every wrestling show now.
Yeah, we should start. We should start our own video game music awards,
It's not a bad
There you
idea.
Yeah,
There
like
you go.
dedicated to just video game music,
shine
Might have
light,
to do that.
shine light on them, man.
I
That'd
would
be-
love that.
That's
Yeah,
a that's a
that'd be-
great. Someone's got to do it.
right?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I mean, then you'll get flamed online when people's favorites don't win.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
What do you
Oh.
mean? How do you not have this game up there? It's like, well, I
What
didn't play
makes
it.
you an authority?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
I'm gonna strike down your channel.
So you post the
we
video
care.
you watched.
It's because we care. That's the authority.
Yeah.
Seriously.
There you go.
Rand, how did that appearance in River City Girls 2 come about?
Yes.
Oh man.
Because that took us
okay.
off guard. I said, "Oh shit." I was like, "All right, everybody, stop! Don't go to the next screen yet." I was like, I didn't even know this was even a thing. I was like, "What's
Like,
going
is
on?"
that, is that Mega Ray?
Crazy. That game, yeah, man. They did it really slick. So I got to shout out the team that worked on that. Bannon was one of the
Bannon
animators.
Brutus.
He's been on the
Yeah.
show.
We
Shout
had
out
him
to
on.
Bannon. Good dude.
He's a funny guy.
Me and him have been friends forever, and he drew me some art a long time ago, and I really loved it. And I use it a lot. And then he just messaged me like, "Hey, what would it take for you to make a song for River City Girls?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I love that game. I would like say less. Let's go." And so I started working on it with the Microphone Misfits from Chicago. Shout out to them. And man, the song just sounds great, and everything's moving. And then we start talking to the composer. Wait. Last name's McDuffie.
Megan.
I
Megan.
Megan.
We had her.
Megan
On,
McDuffie.
we had her on the
Okay.
show
She was
too.
on the show too.
Yep.
Shout out to Megan, who did an amazing job. And so this was a situation where I brought like a ready-made track in, and I didn't really like need like Megan to do any like post-production on it. She's like, "No, this song is done. It's great. It's ready to go." And I was like, "Is that weird? Like you produced the whole thing." You know what I mean? Like we just talked about this, like somehow that blanket production just goes over everything where it's like produced by Nintendo. And it's like, wasn't it like somebody who actually composed this? You know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure that, you know, her credit for what she did in the soundtrack was there and prominent. And then and Bannon was like, "Man, I'm gonna put you a sprite in the game
There you go.
as well." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he showed me the sprite, and I was like, "What?" I got my 2 DJs in there too, DJ
Yep.
Ashton and DN3.
That's awesome.
Like it's just such a
There it
great
is.
look, man. Like, and it's a great stage. The game is like super challenging, but you know, if you can get there, props to you for sure. But it's such
Yeah.
a fun game, and I was just an honor to be a part of it. So that happened like right after. Was that before or after Turtles? I think that was before Turtles.
Oh,
feel
second
like-
one.
Part
Second
two,
one. I'm
part
not
two
sure.
was after Turtles, I think.
I think
Yeah,
it was it
was it
bef-
after?
Oh, it was
that
at the
was
same
bef-
time.
That was before maybe.
I
Because
don't
Turtles was 6
recall.
players.
We played Turtles after River City 2,
and
right?
then we
No?
said this should be
No.
more. It was 4 players. It was around the same time.
All right,
Damn,
now I
yeah.
gotta remember because like I was like,
I'm
oh
looking
man,
it up.
I'm becoming the go-to guy in the beat 'em up world, you know, like writing songs for beat 'em ups. And so yeah, man, like that was Megan and the team just being so cool about having us get involved. And I'm just honored because it's a great series. I love those games so much. Like I try not to work on anything that I wouldn't actually buy and play myself.
Mm,
Like if I
nice.
can possibly, you know, make those decisions, I want to work on stuff that I would play and that makes sense with whatever my branding is. So it's totally up my alley, like old school beat 'em up, you know, great music. And they're like the basketball court. This is where, you know, like some old school hip hop would be playing, you know?
Yeah.
So I love the track we did. So yeah, man, shout out to them. Shout out to Wait For It team for having me a part of that. Cause that was like awesome.
Way
You know-
Forward is awesome. They're awesome people. They're
They
really,
are.
really cool. We're still trying to get Bannon and be like, yo, put us as NPCs in the background or something, man. I'm like, you've been on the
Yo.
show like 3 times already. Come on, Bannon.
Yeah, for real. You gotta walk past a little level 857 in the back somewhere.
something. Come on.
Something.
I'll get beat up. I don't care.
and now you're immortalized.
It was before Turtles. by
game.
the
It was
way.
before Turtles?
Yeah,
Okay.
just confirmed.
Wow, it was
Before
before
Turtles, yes.
Turtles.
Yeah.
So
December-
that was like the first like actual like I've done so many things for games, but they haven't always gotten into the game.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
it was for you know,
Promo.
promotion of the game. So like Mortal Kombat 11, I did a song called Rise that basically was me rapping over the end credits theme, and they used that for some advertisements and then for the soundtrack. But I kept hoping they were going to put it into the game, and they never did.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh man, I'm still not in a game yet. And then and then this came along, and I'm like, yes, I'm in the game. And then Turtles Shredder's Revenge came along, and T Lopes, the amazing composer, who, if you haven't had him on, you got to have him on.
I actually reached
He's a
out to him
genius.
a while ago. He said he would do it, but then he got busy.
Mm.
Oh yeah, he's
He was
super
Streets
busy.
of Rage 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage, Sonic Mania, so much good stuff, man. He is like, there's Mr. NDA right there. I'd be like, T, what you
Mr.
working on?
NDA.
Like, I can't tell you.
But it's magic.
It'd just be like, holy shit, I can't tell you though. And I'm like, oh, man, like that's Mr. NDA. So he's always got something coming. And yeah, he just did the G.I. Joe as well. So like so many games that come out, he's a big part of them. So
It's awesome.
the guy's great and he's a legend. So yeah, like then that happened with Turtles, and I was just like, man, I'm the beat 'em up guy. Like, let's go. You know? So now I offer my services to anybody who does a 2D beat 'em up. Like, if you don't have a Mega Ran song, you're risking a credibility hit. So you might want to holler at me. I'm just saying.
Talk that
Uh,
talk.
And
So the
then,
ending-
then Metal Gear, not Metal Gear, Mortal Kombat 1, which was maybe the biggest look. We got the end credits song, myself, Zed Tabani, and a rival with shout out to Will Roger, another guy who, if you haven't had on, you got to. Um, Will Roger started off, and I didn't even realize it. He's been producing like soundtrack and stuff that I've been playing forever. He did Medal of Honor Underground. And I was like, what? You've been around from that long? And he's from Philly.
Mm.
So we met up at a Mag Fest, and then I started looking through his credits, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, like you are that guy. And so he did the newest Mortal Kombat, and then he hit me up, was like, we want to put some rap on the end of it. And I was like, let's go. So yeah, I was really happy to do that. And we had a blast with it. And it made the game. So that I played it on stream just to believe it for myself. I was like, I'm gonna beat this game and I'm gonna see what happens when the credits roll. And then it came on. I was like, yo, that's me. So yeah, the last few years, especially, have been really great for me for video game placements. And it's usually like fighting beat 'em up type games. That's kind of been my thing.
So that end credits on Mega Man 12 is coming with?
I hope so. Mega Man 11, they have a dude in there in a cutscene that looks an awful lot like your boy. In the very first cutscene, there's this black dude in a lab coat, and I was like, I think that's me. But I don't know.
Paying homage.
I'm gonna play
I'ma
and look.
claim it.
I beat that game. If there is, I'm gonna play it again.
Okay, I'm gonna claim. I couldn't beat it. That game got really hard at the end. Like the difficulty spike was a little bit too much for me. Like it was either too easy on normal, and then it was like way too hard on hard. And yeah, it was like I couldn't quite get the.
You gotta keep collecting the bits and the screws and buying items and stuff, and it gets better.
Okay. And I never used that double gear system. I guess that.
Oh,
I didn't understand
that's the game. That is
Okay.
the
wonder.
game.
Because I was like, I don't think I need this, and then all of a sudden you need it.
Yep, it'll help a lot, definitely. Speaking of Mega Man, what is your favorite Mega Man games? For like, have you played all the series? Have you played like Mega Man Battle Network, Mega Man X? Have you played Mega Man Star Force, Mega Man Zero?
I've not played Star Force.
Okay.
I just played Battle Network like last year when they brought the collection.
Yeah.
I was mostly a classic and an X guy, but later, and also I played I guess it was 64, which was Legends. Yeah.
Oh, Legend.
But I like that too. But I'm mostly a classic side scroller guy. And I still stream them every once in a while. I do Mega Man Mondays on my Twitch, so
Yeah.
I'll play a Mega Man game randomly. So I've been going through the X's, and these games are like just ridiculously hard, man. Like they're so hard, man. It's like it's merciless how hard these games are. And they were dropping these games like every year for like $60-$70. And man, like just killing our pockets. And they were just very difficult games. But yeah, my favorite, I mean, in the series, there's a few, and I really love two. Two is what kind of did it for me. Then 4, I feel like every other one, 2, 4, 6 are my favorites on NES. And then when it comes to Super NES, I like X1, X2, and X4. But I really like Battle Network. I just got into it, and I was like,
It's
oh,
good.
this is great.
It's good.
This is really good. So I'm a big fan of the Battle Network games now, and I completely slept on them before.
Yep.
So I need to play the Star Force games next because I just never played them.
They're not bad. I like the network games better than the Star Force games, but
Mm.
they're not bad. It's not bad.
Okay.
You know,
And the Zero games are fun too. I mean, they're
Yep.
super hard. I remember just getting the Zero collection and just like struggling on the end of the first game, just being like, "Oh my god,
they're all tough.
they're
All
so
the
hard,
zeros
man."
are tough. All the
But
zeros.
I appreciate hard games. Like I don't know, I'm a masochist when it comes to that. I'm like, this game ain't gonna get me. Like, no, I'm gonna figure it out. So I just keep playing.
Yeah, we're from that generation.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why like games like Elden Ring kind of work for me. Like I didn't think they would, but now like I'm okay with dying 100 times because I did it. I did it in Contra. Like it's okay. Like Ninja Gaiden, the dang bird was knocking me off the cliff.
5-2. 5-2.
The sound of that is ingrained in my head.
Oh god. Game over.
Exactly.
Oh god.
That's some of the best music of 8-bit right there. though.
Yeah, for real.
And real hard to duplicate. I remember Al tried to redo that. Tell him how hard to make those beats over. And they were working with nothing back
That was
then.
tough.
They were
Yeah,
so
they're working with nothing. That's what made that stuff so impressive, man, is that they had such limited sound channels and they were
Yeah.
able to do such cool stuff.
Yep.
Basically by hacking. I started reading later on into it. They were just hacking the sound chips. Who was it? The Sunsoft team figured out that you could create a bass channel just by like hacking stuff and like and I was like, wait, what? Like so then the Batman on there, the Blaster Master.
Blaster Master.
They
Yep.
started doing some crazy stuff with drums and bass, and I was like, "What is this?" You know what I mean? I'm like, "Yo, this is hard," So yeah, it just amazed me like that idea of like just tinkering with stuff and creating something cool is what attracted me to kind of DIY like music styles and yeah, I've been able to meet a lot of really great people in the chiptune space that do the same thing. They just take Game Boys, hack them, chip them up, and then just make bangers out of them,
It's nuts.
So yeah, it's pretty impressive.
That's awesome.
Journey to Sicilius was Sunsoft also, right?
I think
Yes.
it might.
That first stage music that went
A
extremely
lot
hard.
of Sunsoft only first stages, I know.
yeah. Why is it always the first stage? I swear.
Batman
Batman's first stage.
Batman's the
is
first
good, yeah, it was
stage.
good music.
That's
Yeah,
hard
first
game.
stage.
Why they go? Because they probably
true.
put their best track
To keep
in
you playing.
stage one
To keep you
because they
playing.
know you're not going to get past the
Not
first
getting
fucking
started.
stage.
Yeah, they give you the banger to start it off. Oh my god, you're gonna make me play Batman on NES. That music was fire.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And they did that same track on the TurboGrafx one, which plays nothing like the Nintendo one. It's like a puzzle game
Overhead.
where you just throw a batarang at people and it's like
But
overhead.
the music was remixed.
But they remixed it, and it's the same exact track they used
Really?
for.
Dope.
Yeah.
Really?
It's dope.
I didn't
It's
know that.
very
It's
dope.
so good.
But the game is like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, the game is the game,
like, what
Yeah,
is
if
this?
anything, just listen to the soundtrack.
What is
Yeah.
this Bomberman,
Yes.
Batman shit going
Was that
on?
on
Batman,
Turbo?
Batman.
Turbo CD, right? I think that was on the CD.
Mm,
Or was it just
no,
regular?
no, it was regular turbo.
Regular
Yeah.
TurboGrafx.
And,
Only in
uh,
Japan, though.
I don't
no
even
business
remember they
being
had
that good.
Oh, Europe.
no.
No
Maybe
business being that good.
I was like, what is this song? Why'd they do it again? Why is it so dope?
It's a top down. Yeah, it was like the top down perspective. Let me see if I can find a clip of that.
That's
That
hilarious.
was
Wow, I
crazy.
just did not know that. That's interesting.
I didn't know it either.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
no,
play,
it's-
I didn't play TurboGrafx at
Found
all.
it in the emulator. That's how we discovered.
You're
it.
not missing
Oh,
much
wow.
by
Yeah.
skipping TurboGrafx.
Yeah, I tried to play Bonk way later. I was like, oh, this is what I was missing out on. Then I was like, oh, it's not that good. No. It's what they had. What did TurboGrafx have that I like? The shooter, Blazing Lasers. I'm always
Yes.
into the top-down shooters. Those were my jams. And Genesis had plenty
Thousands.
of those. So I was like, this is cool. I don't need the TurboGrafx. But they had Street Fighter, the first Street Fighter, and that was what
Fighting
almost
Street.
got me. Fighting Street.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Fighting
Yeah.
Street.
There it is.
Terrible then, too.
This is the game.
Yeah, there it goes. And it had
Top-
this.
This is the TurboGrafx. Yeah, looks.
Yeah.
Top-down
I-
Batman?
It's
You
a
throw a
trash.
batarang and you walk into
Yeah,
it.
it's
What
a trash.
is-
Wait, what?
This is
What
a trash
in the
game.
burger time is this?
This is
And
Batman.
it has the
No.
same track.
but the track is
but
so
it's better.
That's why you haven't heard of this.
Why the hell is the track
I don't
better
even-
than the NES version?
This didn't make it to our tier list either, right? It's Batman.
No.
Oh
No, it's
my
not in
God,
America.
This
Yeah.
is weird.
Yeah, it's
What am I looking
Just
at?
listen to the track. I wish I could.
You would
play
have
it.
thought this came out on Sega Master System.
yeah, right. Then I would
Yeah,
accept
for
it.
real.
Yeah, they
Okay.
could have easily did
Super
that.
8-bit.
I wish I could play the
Wow.
track, but
Holy
It's
bad
amazing.
superhero game, Batman.
Yikes.
But speaking of early games like that, what were some of the your favorites back then?
Man, it's funny because I go back a lot to them. Like I take my Steam Deck when I travel, and I'm always like, let me just dig up an old Super Nintendo or old Nintendo game that that can get me through. So I started playing Castlevania 3.
Ooh,
That was
okay.
my jam. Like that game still holds up. Still such a fun experience. Um, yeah, I love the side scrollers that were hard. Like that was always my style. And then the Sega Genesis side scroller or top down shooters. I was really into those. I made sure to get like the Thunder Forces and all those like space shooters games I could on Genesis.
Mm.
What else? I started playing Shadow of the Ninja on NES.
Oh, there you go.
This is an unsung gem. This game is a banger. Like people should go back to that very last year of the NES because there's some like gems that got slept on. Low G Man. What else? Yeah, there's a couple. But then I found out there is a remake of Shadow of the Ninja on Switch right
Yep,
now.
that is correct. Yep.
Yeah, it's out.
I started playing it last night and it's really good.
it's dope.
Yep.
I played the demo. The demo's out, and I was like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna buy this." It is super hard, of course, but that's the way it's supposed to be. And yeah, you're like, they got the the cat ladies with the whip, like all the stuff they had in the first game, and then these giant robot dudes shooting at you. It's a really cool game. So that was one of my joints. Anything with a ninja, for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
the '80s and '90s were ninja
Yeah.
time. So anything with a ninja, but yeah, looking at it right now, this looks
Ooh.
it's so good.
No,
man.
it looks
These
very
graphics are
good.
great.
And the remakes are the movie.
Animation's awesome.
And from what I heard,
Is
it
it
was
only
original.
on Switch?
No, it's on
Steam.
everything.
I think it's on, yeah.
Steam.
Oh, it's on Steam
It's
too.
on
Okay,
everything.
so all right. Well, I'm getting it somewhere. I
The
just saw that
original
the demo
team,
was free.
The original team.
And the
did
music.
this.
The music, I was like, why does the music sound familiar? So I think the theme is the same. They just kind of, updated it. I
Mm.
think that first stage, how they did the first stage
Yeah.
banger. So the first stage has the banger, of course, and yeah, it's super good. So games like this, I'm all about it. Those, I guess, kind of Castlevania, Metroidvania type games are my jams. So I'm always looking for something like that to play.
If you haven't played it already, what would be right up your alley if you haven't played it is Cyber Shadow.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Wait,
that's
I think I played that. Is that the Ninja
Please tell me you
Gaiden
played
type?
Ninja
Type
Gaiden
one?
type with the crazy soundtrack.
With the music.
Yeah,
oh,
the
man.
soundtrack is incredible. I
Mm.
got to there's another one where I get to the last stage and then I die 150 times, and I'm like, all right, I think I've done enough here.
I put that away
Yeah,
for a
like,
while.
Yeah, that.
I'm
and the
gonna put it
Messenger.
away.
and
That
the
is
Messenger you
literally
can
me
play.
on every game. That's me on Elden Ring, everything. I'm like, final boss beats me 150 times, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, all right, moving on. Cuphead, like everything. I was like, I ain't got nothing else to prove. I got here. I'm good. I got here.
That's how I am
Like,
on Elden
that
Ring.
literally happens. If it takes me like a week still fighting this one guy, I'm like, all right, sit this game down. Let's play something else.
That's
But
funny.
Cyber Shadow is awesome. There's another great man. What is it called?
The
Shinobi
Messenger.
non grata.
Oh yeah,
Ah, I know that
That's
game.
tough.
Oh, Shinobi non
tried it.
grata is awesome.
it looks cool,
Some
but
of
it's
the
tough as
That's
hell.
great. Yeah, they had a demo out, and the demo was pretty good. So I just was like, I'm buying this, and it's really tough. But man, I love that you can. One of the weapons is kind of busted. You got this gun, and then like they probably shouldn't let you have a gun in a ninja game. But you're just like, all right,
They did it in
boom.
Shinobi.
It's like fuck this duel. Pa, 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 pa.
They did it in original
Right.
Shinobi.
Yo, you pull out a freaking like a musket. Like he's got this like giant barreled gun, and you can beat bosses really easy with them. But outside of that, like, look at this. Like, this is super fun.
It looks like an
Has that
arcade
great
game.
throwback style.
Looks like Kid
And,
Nicky.
No.
Yeah, Kid Nicky. What's that other
Look,
one?
Kid
Legend of
Nicky.
Cage. Remember
Yeah.
that?
More Legend of
Yeah,
Kid.
like that kind of style. But like a lot of really cool weapons you can use. Like, so I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it looks like the game that came out for TurboGrafx. I forgot the name.
Ninja Spirit.
Ninja Spirit,
another
yes.
Oh, Ninja Spirit.
Or like
Okay, I
a
remember that.
cartoon version of it.
Speaking of, what do you think Sega's gonna do with this Shinobi? They talking about
Hopefully, real
Shinobi
well.
coming back.
Yeah,
Um,
We've been discussing this stuff for like a hot minute ever since we saw it. Al over here, and I agree with Al. I think they're like Sega's coming up with something. We haven't seen what system this is going to be on yet.
They haven't said
so
anything.
we're kind of like debate,
haven't said
maybe Sega might be returning with something. I don't know,
Let
man.
They
them
haven't-
cook.
They're not coming out with no hardware.
No,
Stop.
not hardware, but
No,
they
no,
might
no.
maybe
Of course.
online
Online
only.
service.
You know, who knows?
Oh.
Well, we saw footage of the new Shinobi already, and it looks very close
looks
to.
very good.
It looks like a stylized,
Super clean.
cartoonish Part 3. I see a lot of Part 3 influence in there. It looks pretty good.
Whatever
And-
Sega comes out with is going to attach to the Genesis.
That'd be cool because I still have
God.
Genesis.
Click right on top.
yeah, it's like, exactly.
an
Oh,
upgrade.
man. I took a picture of one of the. I was at a game con and I saw somebody had the Sega CD with the Genesis, the 32X,
tower?
all- the Tower of Power, and I was like, man, this was the dream, bro. If you, this is like you had the one rich kid on the block who had all this, and all the games sucked. It didn't matter. I mean, what did we? Oh man, we played Joe Montana Sports Talk.
Yeah, I remember that.
I
that
remember
game,
And
yeah.
the best thing was that you could hit a button to get a play from Joe Montana,
Yeah.
and it would be a video of him being like, "All right, guys, I think you should run the ball here." That's Joe.
Talk about
What's that
voice
other one?
lag.
Sewer Shark. Oh man, there
Sewer
was some
Shark.
other ones.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a time, man.
All those are painful
But
to
that
think about.
Shinobi looks good. I hadn't seen that footage, and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Feels like 3, which was my favorite.
Sewer
They got to get the guy Yuzo Koshiro in on the soundtrack.
Yes.
Oh,
they
yeah.
I
need
hope they do. They should at least for a little bit.
I mean, he was over at he did a
He was
little
on-
Streets of Rage 4 on
As
there.
long as he's past the Streets of Rage 3 phase, then yes.
the Streets of Rage 3 phase.
he's past that.
Everyone's
past
like,
that.
He's
yo,
past that.
Yes.
nah, he was on shrooms or
He
something.
didn't actually do that. That was just the machine. He hit a button.
Someone put his name on it.
You know what's funny? Because you hear tracks like that in 4, but more
They're done better.
polished. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
more polished.
I think
in
they
4.
paid him before it was done.
Damn.
He's like, there you go.
It's messed up.
Because obviously you could do better.
And 3 played so
Yo.
good.
They play
3
good.
played so good. But I was like, yo, the music is wild right now. They're bugging.
Yeah, it's hard to top four
They
right now.
bugging.
Hard to
seriously
top
is.
four. So what are some of your influences, your musical influences?
That was
back
gonna
in
be
the
my
day?
question, Jay.
Because from what I can hear from in your songs, you sound like you got some influence from De La Soul, Del the Funky Homo Sapien,
Yeah.
of course Biggie with Notorious R.A.N.
A little big.
Hey.
But I can definitely hear some of that in there. So you want to name a few?
That is, man, you're pretty on point. I'd say influences. I love Chub Rock,
Yeah.
Heavy D,
Heavy D. That's my guy.
Guru, Gangstar, rest in peace. Definitely De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest,
Yes.
Dell,
Yeah.
MF Doom,
Yes.
Rakim, Redman, and Gift of Gab from
I was gonna say Black Alicious.
Black Alicious.
Yeah.
I was like, I
So-
felt a very strong Black Alicious vibe when I
He gave us a
listened to some of
shout-out.
his stuff.
Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Like, let's
that's
just give us a
like-
shout out.
Yeah,
Black
Black
Alicious.
Alicious. Yeah, he followed us and gave us a shout.
Hey,
Wow.
that's
Way
what's
back.
up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Legends. So yeah, man, that's where I've been kind of experienced. Like, that's kind of been my thing. It's like I like storytellers who can
Yeah.
blend some humor, bring some knowledge in as well. Like I love Chub Rock because he would always like, even if he's rocking the party, there's gonna be some knowledge, there's gonna be some wisdom. You know what I'm saying? KRS-One, I put up there for the
Okay.
freestyle
Mhm.
aspect of what he does and just like being an MC and controlling the crowd, you know. So yeah, those have been a lot of my heroes for sure. I think it
That
comes
was good.
out in the music.
That was good.
I think the song that made me the happiest this year
Hmm.
was that Eminem LL.
The Eminem.
Oh,
Eminem.
Yeah.
Because hearing
Yeah, that
that
was
just got me.
That
I was
came out
like,
of nowhere.
Yo, the lyrical
Yep.
acrobatics on that track.
I was like, I need this hip hop in my life.
I was
Yeah, they
surprised
went
by
in.
LL. I was like, LL will surprise
He
you.
was
That's
no,
killing
LL
it.
was not gonna
LL
let Eminem outdo him on his track.
Nah, he
LL
wasn't gonna
will
let him.
surprise you. He was like, you hear him sometimes, then when he gets, then when he's a guest on someone's track and he kills it, it's like, okay.
Dude, that was like
Still
that
got
was
it.
56
Oh,
and
yeah.
what, 50 or 51?
Yeah,
Like that's
Oh,
in
yeah.
the 50s.
out rapping
dude.
these 20-year-olds.
Yeah, like they're
Killing
in the
rapping.
50s.
I love where we
Rings
are.
around.
Like we're in a great place in hip hop, man. Like the older dudes are not afraid to rap.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like if you
I
want to
hope
hear
that
some
brings
bars,
everybody out. Yeah.
you're gonna hear some bars from the older cats. Like it's a really good time right now.
Dude, I really wanted Big Daddy Kane on a remix of that.
Yeah.
He needs to be on there.
Oh,
Rich
yeah.
shouted him out. They did some like references to his album cover. I was like, ooh, they need to get him on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should happen.
Mhm.
Daddy Kane.
Put it
Seriously.
out in the world.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But,
What was that unreleased track? The Tupac and Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, it's good, yeah.
Yeah, the
They
unreleased
actually
track.
did a song.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
it's hard.
insane.
A lot of stuff doesn't make it out there, man. You'd
That's
be surprised.
Crazy.
That's wild. Yeah.
What was your favorite guest that you've had on any of your songs?
Oh man, I like working with my boy Richie Branson. I feel like he brings the best out of me. He's kind of like a guy who's brought kind of cool and swagger to
Mm.
nerd rap, and I feel like where it is now, like I don't know if you've heard any like recent nerdcore from like the YouTube kids. I think he has inspired that generation.
Mm.
So Richie is on this like hip hop but cool, but also very nerdy, very much a weeb who's like into Japanese cars and manga and all that cool stuff, but like not afraid to show that, but also bringing the bars and the swag with it. So, so now I'm seeing that with a lot of the new artists, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of what Richie has brought to the game. Is like now, like we used to be kind of the awkward rappers, like the unlikely rappers, and now everybody's like, nah, I'm a beast and rah, you know what I mean? I'm rapping as Goku and I'm gonna be a beast on you, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's different. Like there's a different level of confidence in what everybody's bringing to the table.
Oh
which
yeah,
is
there's a
super
huge
dope.
generation now who's all into that.
Oh
Who
yeah,
and
and
that's all they've seen.
it's super fun to see, man. And so Richie's one of the guys who I think brings that out of me. So I like to hear that when he gets on the track with me for sure.
You know who low key did that on like a higher frame right now? It was Lupe Fiasco.
Oh, really?
Mm.
He has a song called Mural on.
Well, that's an album, I think. Well, yeah.
No, it's a song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about as long as an album, but
Yeah, bruh. And then I think towards the end, he starts dropping a lot of anime and video game references. I'm like, ooh.
He said it's hard to use Blanca. No.
Yeah, no kidding. He's not wrong.
no, yeah, Lupe for sure brought nerd to the like mainstream. I mean, that was what his very first track with Kanye. He said Lupin the Third, and we were like,
Yes.
what? You know what I mean? Like, what you know about Lupin the Third? So from the beginning, he let you know like exactly where he stood. So bringing that nerd like to the mainstream for sure, Lupe was a huge influence.
Yes.
That Mural song is literally a work of art. Like it's something I remember back during the pandemic when like the what was it, the Clubhouse was popping. Everybody was going on Clubhouse having conversations, and Lupe was in a room with a bunch of battle rappers, because battle rappers were basically saying how we don't get the respect we deserve. Like we're out here doing, all these amazing gymnastics in these battles, and like nobody respects us as top tier rappers. And Lupe just came in and was like, well, look, here's the reason y'all don't get respect. None of y'all have a mural. And and maybe he was just feeling himself a little bit in that moment. But like these guys got mad. They were like, man, what? Like we create a mural every battle. What are you talking about? Like they're doing these 15-minute long, no beat, like diatribes on like it takes a lot of skill for sure.
Oh yeah.
And so, but he was just like, you're not creating that magic on recorded medium. So for that reason, he felt like this is why you're not getting the respect you think you deserve. And maybe, I don't know. I would love to hear somebody argue that, because battle rappers, typically, I don't know any battle rappers who have transitioned into like making hit rap songs.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
It's
there
a different
might
skill.
be it's a different part of the brain. It's a different skill set. So
Closest
I
is what,
respect it.
Cassidy?
Yeah, like I respect it,
Cassidy.
because I can't do it. Like I freestyle battle, but I can't possibly do a 15-minute round where I'm just going to talk about you and remember it and make it make sense and chain together. Like that's hard.
That's not
So
Plus, you want to get
I
paid
would-
for that.
You want
Yeah.
to pay for that? Yeah, for
You don't
real.
want to do
Like-
that for free.
I would choke, So yeah, there's just a different part of the brain, and it's not, it's weird that we don't recognize that skill set for what it is, but it just isn't graded on the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Curriculum. It's like it is dope. It's incredible. Like when I see a
Mhm.
great battle rap, I'm like on the floor.
Yeah.
But like we're not calling any of these people top 5 MCs, which is, maybe unfortunate, but kind of is
Yeah.
what it is.
I remember Eminem tried to bring light to the battle rap with obviously 8 Mile and he had another movie about battle rap that I saw. I forgot what it was, but they were like tag team battle rap. It was pretty cool. But
Oh yeah.
but yeah, as far as like making that hit song, yeah, I haven't seen it really.
No, I really haven't seen anybody like transition out. And now we're seeing people kind of transition in. Like Cassidy has gone into battle rap. We've seen other folks kind of come into it, but I haven't really seen anybody come out of it and just be like, I don't do that anymore. Now I make hits, you know.
Remember Freestyle Fridays?
Freestyle
Oh
Friday.
yeah, Freestyle Friday.
Oh,
what is that?
Jin was killing it. Blind Fury, the blind guy.
Oh, Blind Fury.
Jin.
Oh, Blind Fury.
Now they
Blind
killed it.
Fury was
Killed it.
crazy. Yeah. But there's a skill like that, you know, I like the ability to freestyle. You know what I mean? Like
No
these things
songs.
aren't taken, they're not taken into consideration when you think of who's the best rapper, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and maybe they should be, but unfortunately they're not.
That's the unfortunate thing about putting everything in different categories, because then people just see it in that category instead of saying
Right.
they're top, even though they're battle rap, nerdcore, hip hop. But then
Right.
they
They
don't.
get to
They don't
speak
break
it,
off
but-
hip hop from mumble rap or none of that. So
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, don't get me started on mumble rap.
I've seen some of
Ooh.
these. Some battle rappers actually made it on Wildin' Out, and they've seen success that way through that
to
avenue.
get labs, to get
true.
labs.
I mean, yo, it's better than nothing.
oh,
They
no,
got-
it's definitely
they,
no.
they,
It's
they
to get
getting that
money.
Nick
Yeah,
Cannon
it is.
paycheck, bro.
Play,
It
it's a
is.
platform.
Yes, you're getting paid, you know. And battle rappers get paid. Like the top guys get paid really well. If they can get 1 million views on a battle, they get paid. So I've seen it. So there are battle rappers who are the top of the top. You know what I'm saying? And they get paid accordingly. But you know, for whatever reason, there won't be a person who says, "Yeah, you're one of the greatest." You know,
Yeah.
like there's no. It's just too many distinctions. I feel like we need a hip hop Hall of Fame. We need a video game music Hall of Fame. It's that. You know what I'm saying? Like we're
Yeah.
losing too many legends, and like it just needs to happen. Like we're losing people, and if we're just waiting for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to acknowledge these people,
Yeah,
It
like it's
might-
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's like it's
Right.
not even named
yeah, it might
correctly.
not ever happen. So
Tribe Called
we
Quest just
need
got
a
in there.
hip hop Hall of Fame.
Tribe just got
Yeah,
in
Tribe
there.
Called Quest just got in, and that was awesome. But like, how
Buster's
long
still doing
before
his
we
part.
can get?
We need a hip hop. We need a hip hop.
But you
Hall
know how
of
they
Fame.
always get people to represent the song for you.
Mhm.
Buster's always going up there for himself because nobody's replacing him.
Nah,
he's like,
he's-
I'm gonna do
nah,
my
dude.
part.
Nah,
I
bro.
don't care if y'all are respecting my
Oh,
songs.
yeah.
I'm doing
Buster
my
will-
part.
Yeah, Buster will always do his part.
But looking on YouTube or anywhere for your music, you obviously have a lot to choose from.
Mhm.
So where would you like kind of direct the person who's just looking into your music to start at?
Mm.
Like what projects would you say to this is what you should first look up to
Well,
represent?
it really
YN?
depends on what kind of person you are. Honestly, if you're a well-rounded cat who just wants to hear something different and new, you can probably start with my most recent release. But I think if what I've been able to do is make music in different sectors and pockets, you know, where it's like every album is usually a concept. So video games might be the concept, anime might be the concept, wrestling might be the concept, finding your true self might be the concept, or children might be the concept, you know. So so it really just depends. But honestly, I think you could start with to me, I think that my kind of quintessential album is Forever Famicom, which came out in 2010, produced by K Murdoch. And that was kind of the first in-depth journey into video games and hip hop. Like we wrote from the perspective of kids who were equally raised on rap music and Final Fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Who were playing Public Enemy while playing Sonic at the crib, you know, things like that. So it's basically just taking those things that we loved and coming from that perspective. So I think you learn the most about me through that. There's a song on there called Dream Master, which I actually named my book after, because I feel like that's probably the most autobiographical Mega Ran thing out there, you know. So it gives you the full story of me and how I've came to be and what I've been experienced and what I've come through, and so I think it'll give you a really good place to start from there, because I think once you see that album and see it through, then you know, like, oh, he could go anywhere with this, you know.
I personally, I think the song about fruit is a great place to start. Like that was one of the first things I heard. I was like, hold up. I was like, this is a fruit. I was like, I gotta watch this. So I did.
Thank you. Give
And
me
I
the
was just
fruit.
like,
My fruit banger.
and I was like, I heard that and I was like, no, he's good. I'm like, if you do a song like this, and you kind of like versatile. You got a children's album also, right?
Yes, I did the children's album.
So,
Yeah, I'm a new dad, so once he's adopted, and so once we cleared our adoption, I was like, I want to work on something for him, and so not that my music was super adult anyway, like there's no profanity or anything in my stuff, but I wanted to make an album that would specifically grow up with him, so that's the album. It's called Buddy's Magic Toy Box. We put it out. It hit #2 on Billboard for kids albums. Like,
That's awesome.
made
That's
a real good run, and so I'm really happy with it. And so I think that that's something I want to revisit again. I want to do another kids album next year, and
very cool.
but yeah, the fruit song is on there. I always say it's like, my buddy who's a real harsh critic of music, he's like, yo, that's the hardest song about fruit I ever heard in my life. and I'm like, well, thank you. Like that, I'm proud of that. Like that's, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. He always says, man, if you're gonna be a monkey, be a gorilla. Like make the greatest thing you can make. And so that was it. So
No,
I'm really proud of it.
I noticed I didn't have any fruit in my house when I heard that song. I was like, I have no fruit whatsoever. I need to go shopping.
Wow.
It's just
So
like
you inspired one.
Yeah.
But even the chick that was on there, she was like, I was like, wow. I was like, she's good. I was like, it's talking about fruit. That's crazy.
If I could inspire one, my job is done. Shout out to Whitney Payton. She jumped on there, and we had a good time with that. Next, I got to figure out a song just as catchy for veggies. So I don't know if I can pull it off, but I'll try.
That's gonna be tough.
Well,
We
you
have
can
faith
mix
in you.
that. You can mix that with Dragon Ball since they're all veggies anyway. The
Yeah.
names.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get both of them.
Makes
Okay,
sense.
okay. I like that.
Favorite song? The song that you got was that my favorite song. That's a good song too. Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Favorite song is me just kind of being in tongue in cheek, like, oh, I wrote the song that's going to be the big hit, or I want to write the song that's a big hit. Because a lot of musicians try to say things like, oh, I make music for myself, man. I'm just trying to please me. And that's totally bull.
That is bullshit.
Because you can't, you would never release it if you just wanted it for you. Like you would just keep it in your car,
Right.
So clearly you want someone to hear it and you want them to love it. So I'm just going to be straight up and honest and be like, I want to make the song that makes you dance, that makes your kid dance, that you can't escape from, And so that was a fun record to make. Shout out to the producer Toonsmith. He's from like Austria, and he sent me that track, and I was like, oh, I know exactly what I want to do with this.
And that reminded me of the Black Alicious vibe. I was like, this sounds. He's definitely influenced by Black Alicious just from the whole vibe, like the beat and everything. I was just definitely.
Okay, I could see that. Thank you.
Favorite wrestler all time?
Oh gosh, Macho Man. That's easy.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good choice. A good choice.
Cream of the crop.
The crop happened so fast you can't even talk about it.
And speaking of wrestling, we haven't really talked about the game that we're in together.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, because I ain't in it. Y'all are. I'm not. So here's what happened. Shout out to Michael and the team. But he initially asked me to flip the WrestleFest theme song.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yo, this song, and I remembered it from the arcade. And I was like, yeah, cool. So I sat down, we flipped it, made it track. And then he was like, suddenly, and I mean, I don't know, I'll be as honest as I can. The game came out and I wasn't on it. And I was like, wait, what happened? And he's like, man, well, what had happened was I didn't get clearance to sample that.
Oh, the
And I
beat.
was like,
That sucks.
so again, but I was like, but dude, if you would have just told me, then
Right.
I would have just made an original and we wouldn't have to worry about that.
Right.
But instead the game comes out, I'm not on it. And I was a little sad, honestly. I was streaming it and I'm like, yo, guys, you're about to hear the new Mega Ran. And then I'm like,
Wait a second.
Oops.
Oh man.
Got to get that going for the
Ooh.
sequel, man. We got to get
So
that
what
going for the
had happened
sequel.
was- yeah, man. It's out of my hands. Because you know what I did? Just because I am a great team player, I made him a remix. We made a remix and he loved it, but he was like, it wasn't testing as well as the original that had the sample.
Damn.
Because of the
He was like, so when I let people hear it, they were like, nah, it's not hitting like the original. So again, I wished I was told all this in the
Yeah.
process, but I was not. And so I'm not on the game. At least y'all in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I played a game and I saw the little level 857 podcast banner. But yeah, there's no Mega Ran representation in the actual video. So we used our song for like the like a little trailer, like a teaser for it, And so I hope the game continues to do well. I hope there's a sequel and mad DLCs. Yeah, I hope it works out really well, and I hope
Listen.
Mega Ran can make it into the next one.
Listen, there's still updates to be done. We gotta see what we can do. Try and get
Alright.
you into that game while it's still
Alright.
going. Because
Sounds
he's got
good.
some characters coming in there. There's no reason. Listen, we gotta talk to him.
All right. You holler at him. I've said my piece, so you guys.
We got the connection.
We
there.
actually have him here right now.
So Mike,
Come on under the table.
Mike
He's under the-
Herman,
he's under the table, right?
We got to get that on the actual game. And I
I
want
would
a
love that.
physical. I want to buy the physical because I'm waiting.
Yeah, with the physical.
And
Did
since
they
we
do
are
a physical
in
with
it's not
Limited
yet.
Run? Did they do that? No.
not until all the
DLC is out.
DLC is out.
DLC has to
apparently.
be out
Word,
first.
word,
they
word.
got Demolition put in there, and
Yeah, a lot of wrestlers, a lot of
There's a lot. Yeah, it's got a pretty good roster in there already.
But I just want to hold a Nintendo game that has us in it. Just
Yo,
because.
for real. That's it. I just want to be able to hold it and be like, it's mine.
So I'm pretty sure you got the physical of River City Girls too, because I do.
Oh, of course. I got that. I also got the Turtles physical. It looks like a VHS kind of case. So I made sure to get that. The Switch version, it looks like a VHS. And I got it on vinyl too. So yeah, if I'm on it, I gotta own it. I think. Oh, it's actually upside down, but there's the Mortal Kombat 1 vinyl right over there.
Oh, I see it.
You gotta get a picture with all that. Just hold it all up. You're like,
Yeah.
There you go.
There.
You're like, I did that.
Yeah.
I
It's a
did
photo
that.
Because there's no other feeling. There is no other feeling than seeing yourself as a fan of gaming.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
There's no way ever that I thought I would be a pixel in a game
Yeah, man.
when I wasn't
Right.
like, because when I first saw something like that, I saw the Black Eyed Peas. They were in The Sims. I was like, dude, y'all don't do video game stuff. How are y'all in a video game? Come on,
Right.
man.
Like, how did you make that happen? Like,
Well,
come
Will
on.
I Am, of course. Yeah.
But Will I Am is and like anything Will I Am does, it's not out of the realm of possibility. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, it's in brand because like the dude's like a total nerd,
Yeah.
so it
Yep.
makes sense.
I was like, if they could do it, man, I want to try. I want to see if we could do that.
And
But
look
yeah.
at that. Look
they
at
came
that.
out-
You did it. Dreams
Yeah.
come true.
Mike
Yep.
came up, he said, listen, we want to put y'all in the game. I was like, word.
It's like,
Word.
awesome. Let's do that.
And then you never want to believe it. When somebody says that, you're like, okay, let's see. Because, dealing with hip hop, you've heard many a times, oh, you're going to be in this. You're going to do this.
Oh, I got you. And then it didn't happen.
We had one of those. We're supposed to be in Friday Night Lights,
Yeah.
and then
Really?
that episode aired.
They said, yo,
and
check
our
it out.
shit wasn't in there. I was like,
Oh.
It was like
Yeah,
the
that
writer's
was
strike or
horrible,
some
man.
shit was
Right,
going
signed
right.
on.
contracts and everything, and I was like, yo,
They didn't tell us, though. So we told everybody.
Yeah, well, they
yo,
didn't
we
tell
gotta-
us
Oh, man.
Oh, that's whack.
And then we
They
got our
said they gonna tell you.
popcorn. You're
Yep.
ready. And then, nope.
Man.
it
But
happens.
See, that's the thing. It's like the common courtesy of telling people is the hard part. Like, I mean, if I'm going to be disappointed anyway, this is what my wife always tells me. Like, stop trying to avoid conflict and then adding more conflict.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to have to talk to you about it. We're going to have an awkward talk. So you might as well let me know ahead of time.
Yep.
Because, like, I had a situation on our new album, 3MB, which is streaming right now, by the way.
Check it out, check it out.
BT called G1 to the Rescue. It's a wrestling themed album. We have a couple wrestler cameos on it, and AJ Francis is on there, formerly known as Top Dollar, and he's rapping. And I edit his last line because in the line he takes a shot at Max Caster, who raps on
AW.
And so I didn't tell him, but Max is my friend, so I was like, I'm not gonna be in the middle of this. I'm gonna edit you saying his name out. And I didn't tell him that, which I guess I could have, but I thought if I told him, he's gonna be like, oh man, don't do that. Don't be a punk, you know. So I just did it to avoid the conflict. And it's like, why? Because he's gonna hear it. And of course, on day one he heard it was like, why you do that? and now he's like, you should have left it, you know. And I'm like, I should have told you, or I should have left it. So yeah, I messed up. But that was me just trying to avoid something that, you know, like
You could have changed.
you know what I mean?
You want to
could've
be
changed-
connected to that, yeah.
You could have
I
changed
didn't want to
Max
be connected.
Cash.
I just felt like, I didn't want to be put in the middle of a beef. You know,
Yeah.
like I
could-
feel like my point of the whole thing was just last January we did a show called the Battle Rumble in Tampa. It was the weekend of the Royal Rumble, and it was right before the Royal Rumble, and we had rapper wrestlers come out and perform.
Mm.
AJ was there, Top Dollar was there, Leo Rush, a lot of rapper wrestlers was there. They're back in the back. Everybody's friendly. No problems. No words. No beef. No nothing. But now that we're in on like a my platform, I just felt like, why would you use that to spark this up? You are a wrestler that works for a company where you could go on the mic any day
Mhm.
and take a shot at this other guy, and you don't. You have social media where you could just get on and say whatever you felt about that other guy, but you've never done that. So to take my album to do that just felt like unnecessarily involving me. So maybe I'm overthinking the whole thing, but you see what I'm saying? Like, is
No, that's
anybody-
true.
Nah,
That's
I
a
don't
good way
think
to-
you're
back a little bit
overthinking
on
at
there?
all. Because
You know what I mean?
because if you released it with the knowledge, knowing that his name was shouted out in there, you're just gonna be like, really? You just gonna let that slide? You know
Right.
what I mean?
And then it's like, yo, you just let them just like blindside me. You know what I'm saying?
You could have
So-
changed it to say that pastor.
That bastard.
That pastor.
Bastard.
Or that.
Yeah, I just, I was like, well, I'm just gonna take it out. But either way, he was like, oh man, it would have been great. He was like, oh, it would have been great press for the album. And I was like, well,
Mm-mm.
no. Like, are you familiar with the Kendrick Lamar Control situation that went down a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, steer
Where-
clear of the
yeah.
drama. Steer clear of the drama.
You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't want that. Like, Kendrick actually got on, who was that? Big Sean song,
Yeah.
and then just like bust shots at every other rapper in there.
Bruh.
It was no longer Big Sean's song.
And yeah, like we don't even think about Big Sean. I don't know what Big Sean said on that song. Like I have no idea. Is he even there? Like I don't know. Did he say anything? Like I don't know. Did he do the hook? Did he do the beat? Like I don't know. So that became the entire discussion. So I was like, well, I don't want that. So
That's funny.
and I'm not the type to carry beef and stuff. Like I'm friends with everybody. So do that on your own space.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
You know
sense.
what I mean? So yeah, I don't think he felt any way about it, but he was just like, this would have been great. Like it's wrestling, so everything's good promo. You know what I mean? Like people in wrestling are thinking about what's gonna make a good story. Me, I'm thinking about people's real feelings. Like, the next time I ask you for a favor, you might not want to do it because I
Who
set
does
you up.
that? This day and age, who does that?
Yeah, who does that? I don't know. I'm too old for this generation, man. Clearly, like I don't do stuff for the clicks, and that's probably why I'll never like blow up on TikTok or whatever.
You stay off social media.
Mhm.
It's the best way to do
Stay off
things.
social media. Keep your soul.
Just post your stuff.
No,
That's about
You've
it.
been able to make money doing what you want to do, so that's great. So just stick with that, and
Gotta stick with it.
that's what
Mhm.
counts at the
Yeah,
end of
so
the
if
day.
there's one thing you get out of this, stick with it.
Mhm.
Dreams do
Thank
come
you.
true.
I
Facts.
actually hear my kid crying, which means he's up. So I probably gotta dip out.
Nah, no
Yeah.
worries.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
You actually went over, which is great.
Ah,
We got you
told
for
you.
longer than you
told
wanted.
Ah, dang it.
You didn't even notice.
Yeah.
We gotta
That
have a
means
part
It
two
was
though.
great conversation.
Yeah.
I would love a part two. We could, man. I'm glad the whole talk wasn't about wrestling because we could talk wrestling forever. So thank you. We should definitely need to chat. But yo, I gotta say, everybody, please check out the new album 3MB. It is out now. Myself, T Call, G1 to the rescue. It's a bunch of wrestling references over some really good beats. So even if you don't understand what we're talking about, just enjoy the beats. Just sit back and enjoy yourself.
All right.
Rand,
There you
thank you
go.
so much for coming through, man. We know you're a busy guy. The fact that you
Yes.
took time out of your day to
Of
come through, we
course.
appreciate it very much.
Definitely,
Yes.
man.
No problem. Thank
And-
y'all.
And Mega, do you still do podcasting, or how's that? Do you fit that in?
Not
nowadays?
that often, honestly. I have like 2 podcasts that are just kind of on hold right now. We
Uh-huh.
have X Pod 97, our X-Men pod, with Marcos. We're kind of waiting until next season, which might be forever for X-Men 97. And then we do a wrestling podcast, Matt Mania, which we've been kind of slow with updates on that. So I have not been podcasting as much as I would like to. I
Okay.
will say that.
It's not easy. It's like
No,
it's
it ain't easy.
Well,
Not
this-
everybody can get to episode 334. Like, yo, that is a. I tell people when
Every
they ask me to get on their podcast, I say if you're not at episode 9, I can't do it. And they're always like, "Why?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. That's just my number. That's my lucky number.
It's
So
commitment. It takes
because I know
commitment.
how hard it is to do 10 podcasts.
Oh yeah.
So I was
For
like,
real.
yo, I'll be on 9 or 10, but I won't be on 1 or 2 because
Yeah.
That's
a
fair.
lot of them stop.
Especially
1 or
weekly.
2.
That's true. That's
Going
true.
strong. Still going strong.
Yep.
Hell
Look
yeah.
at y'all. That is very impressive. Like, I want to say
Thank you.
Thanks.
props to y'all for keeping
Thank you
it
so
going
much.
and giving good quality and just not giving up because it is a grind.
It
It
is.
is.
For
Yeah, man.
sure.
It is.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
You just don't stop, like Puff Daddy. You
No.
Oh, easy.
Oh, that was terrible.
Bad.
Man, we had a
That-
great
Too soon?
chat,
Too
dude.
soon?
No.
Everything
Too
was
soon?
going so well.
Too soon?
Now we
Too
got to
soon?
delete the whole.
Now you got to throw it in the garbage. Great.
Oh, damn it.
Lucky we already said goodbye.
Yeah. We can edit that part out.
Please edit that out. Oh,
Oh.
God.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Please
Well,
edit
thanks
that
again,
out.
man.
God.
Oh, no connection with whatever.
Thank you so much for
Whatever.
your time.
But thank you.
We
sir.
appreciate you.
Of course. Thank y'all, man. I just subbed to the channel, so I will be tuning in.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank
bro.
you,
Thank
Meg
you.
Ran.
Sweet
We'll
Yep.
just delete the last 30 seconds. Whatever.
I need the Men in Black flash y'all
Yes.
for the real quick.
Exactly.
There's no edits. There's no
You
edits.
heard
Yeah.
something.
All right, man.
Big up, brother.
Yes.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thanks again, Mega Ran.
If you haven't,
y'all.
Till next time.
go check out Mega Ran's all his music. Check it all out.
Yes.
Heck yeah, man.
On
Yes.
Spotify.
Check out that new album.
Very talented.
Definitely give him a follow.
Yo, I've never seen one man almost sabotage an entire podcast.
Oh, you
Right at
have?
the
One
end.
line.
Always. This is what he
With
does.
one line.
Right
what
at
he
the
does.
end, dude. It's like all you had to say is, all right, bye.
Yeah, Kev said, nah, this went too good.
Yeah.
Let's try to throw in the worst keyword possible you can
This
throw
went
into a live
Too
podcast.
smoothly.
You just want clicks with
Can't
that.
stop,
Yeah,
won't
you
stop.
just want clicks.
All I was trying to say, can't stop, won't
Stop
stop.
No,
it.
stop.
Sir.
No,
Stop.
Watch
Sir.
her get
No,
to
no.
this.
How
You
about
will
not?
stop.
How about you stop?
You
Oh,
will
look at
stop.
that. We got demonetized.
Oh, yeah, now it's over.
Great. Great.
Oh, look, we're canceled.
That's
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Good job.
We've
It's
never
nice
been to
while
a
it lasted.
party. It's okay. It's okay.
That was a very
Bruh.
enjoyable podcast.
Yeah, it was.
Very.
was cool,
That was
man.
awesome, man.
I've been waiting for that conversation for a long time.
Hell yeah, man.
Yes.
He's one of- he's
I was
one of-
surprised it happened. I know how busy he is. I see him on Twitter all the time. I'm like, yo, he's doing everything. He's
one of the
traveling.
ones, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's available. I'm like, let's do it.
Hell
Let's do
yeah.
it. I knew it would be a good time. It's always a good time. He likes the same stuff. you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Looking forward to talking again.
Hell yeah. We got to get him on a tier list. We got to figure
Word.
out what we can do.
A Mega Man tier list. I think that was.
That's
We
a
can do
lot of
that.
games, though.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
games.
We'll get
Listen,
through
there's a
it.
ton of stuff we
much.
can talk about. A ton of stuff that we can get to.
We could do a wrestler tier
We
list.
can do a wrestling tier list.
We can talk anime, we can do wrestling, we can do nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Anime game tier list. It's just so many. It's so many.
don't worry about it.
Okay. I smell what
We'll
you're
just
cooking.
make sure that Al, for the next time we have him on, have your hand over the mute on turbo.
Oh man,
Just-
that's
just-
too much
I
work.
know it's
dude.
a lot of
That's
work.
a lot of work.
I
dude.
know it's just like
Just turn his mic off.
You guys have eaten
loose
Philly.
cannon.
You have eaten Philly cheesesteaks. They're delicious.
what do you?
all right?
What does that have to do with anything?
That was when I stopped. I had to ask if UK had the similar things.
What? Wait.
Hit the like button. Y'all.
Why would they have
Just
Philly cheesecake
hit
in
the like
England?
button.
He
We're
said
moving.
UK reminded him
Oh.
of Philly, so I was like, "Did they got them cheesesteaks?"
All right,
We're
you know
moving.
what? You know what?
More than just like baguettes and all that stuff. All right.
Stream
Yes,
schedule.
if you guys enjoyed what you were seeing and or watching and listening to, and you decide that you can't get enough of Level 857, that's okay, because we got more entertainment for you in the form of a stream schedule. Sundays, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got Let's Play Sundays, people. That's multiplayer games, right? Because, we're 5 people on the podcast, so, we do group stuff, group think. So we start with the co-ops, we do the verses, or a mix of both, 2 streams. Make sure you follow us social media, join that Discord, find out what we're playing.
Multiplayer madness.
It's gonna be crazy. Chalk, what you got going on Fighter Fridays?
Friday, Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday. I play fighting games. I play beat 'em ups. Sometimes I beat people up. Sometimes I get beat up. This past Friday, I got destroyed.
Oh, that was a great time. It was a great
I
time.
played Smash Brothers Ultimate. It was the first Friday of the month. And I got stomped out like I owed the money.
It was fun time.
That was chalk. That was chalk the whole stream. Is that again?
They beat me like I stole something.
Yo.
But yeah, it was a good time, man. It was such a fun game.
All right.
And this coming Friday, I don't know what I'm playing yet, but check us out on our social media and you will find out. I promise.
All right.
And Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, we have the podcast. All 5 of us. We're back from vacation. So it's going to be weekly, guys. Yes, Wednesdays, make sure you check us out. All 5 of us live. You guys, the live chat, making sure this thing is a party. If we have awesome guests like Mega Ran, you know it's going to be a great time because, you know, we only have great people on here. We make sure we vet them. We vet them really well. And, you know, and if you love this podcast, you want to show some support, you know, tell your friends and family about, rate, review, wherever, you know, you get your podcast from. You know, support us on our Patreon. We got a Patreon right now. Chuck's going to drop a link. It's like
Always.
I always put them on. Yeah,
Always.
we're gonna get this back. Don't worry. We're gonna put Patreon more in your face. So we're still doing it. We got some more things it's gonna be linked with as well before the end of the year. You know. So yeah.
And our podcast is going to be back to its regular Wednesday schedule starting the 13th, which is not this Wednesday. It's the following one. So
yeah. So once that your schedule, your daily routine, your listening routine, it's gonna get back on track with the rest of us. Don't worry. We're gonna handle that.
We should probably stream something this Wednesday, though.
Yeah, we're going to
We'll
talk.
figure something
No,
out.
we're going to talk.
We're gonna be talking about
After
that.
the podcast.
Yeah.
we'll talk.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
It'll be a secret to everyone, just like
Be
that.
on the lookout.
Yeah, man.
Hit that like button, hit subscribe,
Hell, man.
and we will see y'all next time.
Yeah, man.
Hug your
Thank you so
parents.
much, everybody out there. Hell yeah.
Shout out again to Mega Man.
Level 8.